Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, because great is your reward in heaven. Now, if we do not emphasize because great is your reward in heaven, we miss the entire point of the passage. See, we could say, and I think many people have basically said, it is noble. Noble are you. Courageous are you. Righteous are you when men hate you and exclude and insult you and reject your name as evil. But now it's rejoice in that day. What day? Now this is a that day that's a little different than the Martin Luther that. Rejoice in that day. Which day is that?
Judgment.
Well, you know, with Martin Luther it was Judgment Day, but rejoice in what day? When you are the previous verse. When they exclude and insult you and reject your name as evil because of the Son of Man, rejoice in that day. In other words, this is not postponing your joy to heaven. This is having your joy now. And not just sort of, but leaping for joy. Because what are you doing? You're front-loading the reality of your eternal reward in heaven to today, right now. You can have happiness. You can have joy because you know that your great reward is coming. Now, don't we often take joy in the present for what we anticipate in the future, even in this life? Okay, so you can take joy. What's an example of how in this world, and I'm not even talking on a spiritual level at all, but simply the way life works, what's an example of taking pleasure today in what is going to happen in the future?
Being pregnant.
Okay, being pregnant. Okay. What else? It's a good example.
Helping the needy.
What's that? Helping the needy.
Retirement.
Okay, thinking about retirement. That makes some people very happy.
Are Christians supposed to retire though?
Christopher, you have a way about you of taking the, no, it's good. It's a good way. Yeah, just to interject, let's talk about that on Saturday. Okay, yeah.
Evangelizing.
What's that?
Evangelizing.
Yes, okay, but now let's get out of the spiritual realm. Let's just talk about the way life works. What do you look forward to?
When I met my wife, we were going to go out the first time, I was excited.
Yeah. You were excited in the present in the anticipation of what was going to happen. Are there certain seasons of the year that you enjoy? Christmas comes to mind for me. Christmas, I mean, right now, for crying out loud, it's April and I'm looking forward to Christmas. I just get happy thinking about Christmas. I love Christmas. Okay, so you anticipate, okay, what? You got a birthday coming up. You get a kid's birthday coming up. You bought a present for somebody you very much love, and you can't wait till the birthday comes because you want to see the expression on their face when they get it. So it's not that I'm thinking, I'll be happy once that day comes. I'm already happy thinking about when that day comes. Is going to come, then that's what I'm going to feel, which allows me to front load future happiness into the present.
I'm a marathon runner, and I enjoy running. I'm a contemplative person. I enjoy the solitude and the quiet of it, but it's not physically enjoyable. But I anticipate the benefits of how I'll feel when I'm done, and the benefits of feeling healthy.
You're anticipating probably the finish line, the sense of satisfaction and gratification you're going to have. If you're racing for an actual prize, you could anticipate that possibility of actually, winning or walking away with something. And so if you're in mile 21 or wherever kicks in, like, hit the wall or whatever the expression is, then it's like, the longest I ever ran was a half marathon, and at mile 11 of 13.1 miles, we hit the steepest incline that I've ever run before. It was like, why wasn't this at mile 2? But you're just going, well, because they've constructed the course for pain. And no, but seriously though, you're anticipating being done, and every step you take is with the payoff in mind. And that's exactly what 1 Corinthians 9 says about running the race so as to win, and not everybody wins, but run in such a way as to get the prize. I don't box, I don't shadow box, I don't just box the air, I'm like the Olympic Games. And by the way, the second largest games in the ancient world besides the Olympic Games in Athens were in Corinth, the Isthmian Games. And so they knew exactly what he was talking about. And Paul lived in Corinth for, 18 months or something. And we see from the book of Acts, and I'm just certain he saw these games. That's where he's talking about it to the Corinthians. And so he's talking about the imagery, but always in sports. I coached high school tennis for a number of years, and the sense of it, and one time I was in a tournament, and I was in the semifinals, and I had a 5-hour match. Each set went to a tiebreaker, and we split sets, and so it just went on, but I am living for this being done, and that is my joy, that I am sustained by knowing it will be done. And the prize will be, and both of us, when we hit like 4 hours, we're looking at each other and we're going, I think we were setting a record here. I don't think there's ever been a 4-hour match at the school, and then it was 5 hours. But the point is, even if you're in pain, there is the anticipation of joy that is front-loaded into the moment that makes you feel like, I'm part of something significant. I'm going to finish this marathon. I'm going to do this thing. So even when you finish a big project, how many of you do work where there is like a project, it's project-oriented, and you're done and you move on to another project? Some of you? Okay. Isn't that feeling of satisfaction just great? I'm done with this. And I'm proud of it. Finished. With me, with finishing a book, people say, well, people say, I really want to be a writer. And usually I'll tell them, I think what you really want is to have written. Because at the end, and you finish it, it's like, wow, I did this, and my name is on this book, and it's a sense of accomplishment. I still feel that every time, big book or small. But again, what I do sometimes when it's really hard, I remind myself of the past joys of finishing, which reminds me I will have a joy in finishing this. So now I'll go back to work, and I actually, in the moment, feel an encouragement and a happiness that will help sustain me. This is so key, and this is the way God has wired us. God has wired us to want reward and to look to reward, and reward is important for us, and it is not evil and cannot be evil to want reward. Now, what I mean by that is, of course, some people who want reward are being evil as they want it because they want the wrong reward for the wrong thing, or it's so that it can be all to their praise and glory or whatever. But the problem isn't the reward. The problem isn't even being motivated by reward. The problem is attaching to it some of the very wrong things.